Okay, so hello everyone. Today's subject is going to be training big man to play pick and roll. And I think it's one of the most important things in training big men. How modern basketball is developing. There's less and less low post game. And myself, when I'm training big men, I changed a lot my approach in the last 10 years that I'm doing this. Where first couple of years that I was working, I used more and more training big men to play on a low post, but now low post training is just 20% of all the things that I do. Because when you look how modern basketball looks like, now that's almost every offense pick and roll, and big man has to be trained to play good pick and roll. It's very important thing is that pick and roll game has to be adjusted to the player that you have. What does that mean? If you have a player that's skillful with ball, good passer or less good passer, who can put the ball down in a dribble, who can shoot the ball from that pick, that differs. The training will be different. So our job as a coach is to adjust that offensive game to the players that we have and to hide their faults and to emphasize good things that they do. These guys today that we're gonna do with, I don't know what they are like. I will do some basic drills. I will show what can be done, and you, according to that, according to what kind of players you have, try to get some things from all of this that we're gonna do today. All in all, passer from pick and roll is one of the things that is the most important nowadays to play pick and roll, and for modern 5-man or 4-man. You cannot teach a player to become Nikola Jokic and to make passes that only he can see, but you can make out of every player one passer that can recognize basic things to make a pass in the corner, to see some things that are allowing you not to pass the ball to him from pick and roll, and to be afraid that he's going to make a good pass out of it. So I will try to do as many drills and to see what is that thing that can be useful to all of you in training your players. Now, one big man is going to be under the rim. The guards are here on the side. The big men are here in the middle. Always we have one big man under the rim to act like he's defender, because players very often when they're finishing they don't have a feeling where the defense is standing, so it's unreal, and I'm trying to adjust all the drills that I have to the real happenings in the game. So he's not going to play serious defense, but there are some practices where I'm asking from this player to play maximum defense, so our offensive player gets into a really actual situation like in the game. Now, the first thing about pick is the way that the pick is set. When you receive the ball, this player here with the ball should get into a triple threat position. He's supposed to be able to pass the ball, get into a dribble, or shoot the ball. So pass the ball, swings the ball to the side. Insist on those details. You don't want this pass to be some silly pass. From each situation you can use to improve the player, to receive the ball in a good position, to swing the ball to the opposite side. So the first situation that we're going to go through is the way of setting screen. You come here as a defender. So I, as a big man, what am I supposed to do? First thing, in the moment of setting pick, I have to make a jump stop in one contact. That's what I'm asking from my players. Why am I doing this? When he makes a jump stop like this, I want it done in one contact, because in that way you're saying to the referees that you are not moving anymore. So in that way you're avoiding some offensive foul or moving, and you're giving a signal to your player with the ball that it's time to use that screen and to start with the dribble. That screen should not be too wide. Why? Because if defense gets stuck on this screen, it's a foul. So this screen should be wide as much as your shoulders are wide. If you make a jump stop this wide, you're very slow and you cannot open up fast from this screen that you're setting. So jump stop in one contact in setting screen. So where are you setting? What is the position where you set screen? Players are very often making a screen close to their offensive player, or if the defensive player is more passive, he sets a screen somewhere like here, so he will use the screen and he will go under. There's no advantage that you made from this. Literally, screener is setting screen directly on a defensive player, so the middle of your chest should be on this defender's shoulder. So that's the angle that you are hitting, basically, so your chest to be on his shoulder. It's not easy for a defender to go under or even to go over in defending this. So I want you to pay attention to this, swing the ball to the opposite side. Next thing, that's very important. One of the most important things is opening after the screen. There is a front opening, and there is a back opening with a back pivot. When am I using one or the other? When I'm teaching players. Mostly when the goal is to get faster to the rim, I'm assisting to be a front pivot, because that's a faster opening. And if the player has intention to go all the way down to score from a layup, from this full roll, I want it to open up like this in the fastest possible way to score a layup. What is the most important detail in all of this? So from this jump stop to use this leg, and this first step should be the first one. Players are making mistakes when they wish to set a better screen. So the first step make to the back. So they made basically two steps without winning any of the space on the floor. So this is opening. So I already won and I gained 2 meters. So you should insist on this detail. The same thing is with the back opening, with the back pivot to open up into the deep. So you already beat your defender. Back pivot, back opening, I want it to be done when you want to go for a short roll, a semi-roll, because when the player is opening up with his back, I have my eye contact all the time with the ball. And I'm more ready for this short pass. I'm watching at the player with the ball. So when we do short roll, I'm assisting it to be from this back opening, from back pivot. So also when I'm opening like this, I'm setting an additional screen with my back if he's trying to go under. So I'm providing more advantage for my ball handler. So the first thing that I'm asking from you is, we're making a classic opening towards the front opening without dribble. I want you to make a jump stop, and defender should be here on this semicircle line. I want you to score over him from a jump stop. Again, you have to adjust things to the players that you have. For example, you have players that you see that they're better from one leg than from the other. So if you see that they're not good in making jump stop, you should not insist on that. But I see that you have a lot of advantage when you make a jump stop with both feet. When I do it like this, I can change my mind. I'm tougher. I can do some other decision rather than when I'm receiving it on one leg. So when I do this, then I go for a layup. If I stop, I'm making a traveling violation. But if you have a player like Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's a player who is making everything from one leg. So it would be crazy, to change his whole style of play, because he will make some advantage from jump stop with both feet. So adjust everything that you do to the players that you have. I think it's better to do this thing close to the basket with both feet, with a jump stop, instead of from one leg. But again, we will try to finish today with both feet on the floor. First thing, you receive the ball, swing it, set a screen, open up, you receive a pass, jump stop, and layup scored. So in order to make more drills, I want each of you just to finish one time. Sometimes maybe two times in order to make some correction, but we will not do any drill for 10 times. So we will do each drill, each of you will do it twice. Come on, faster, faster. Come on, pass the ball. When you finish one time, all of you just stop. We will not do it two times. To be able to do more and more drills. What did I say? You have got to receive the information. What is what kind of opening I want when I want you to go all the way down to the rim? So, you be focused, please. Let's do not make that many mistakes. Make a front pivot, front turn, and go all the way down for the layup. No, you have to pay attention to one detail. When you're setting screen, the fastest moment should be this one, to get the advantage. Even if you do it with a medium speed, but this entry into the screen, but this exit from the screen has to be the fastest. These first two steps should be done in the fastest possible way. One more time. Now, next thing that we do from that screen, when you receive the ball, you put one dribble and you get into contact with one player if somebody can dunk the ball. But when you receive the ball, I want you to make one dribble and to bring the ball up to the rim. What I want you to do when you do the dribble. So, as you receive the ball, I don't want you to make traveling and then put the ball down in a dribble. I want you literally that in the moment of receiving the ball to put it down on the floor. In that way, you're preventing making traveling violation. Stop. You have to open up faster from pick and roll. All of this later are just finishing, but if you're not opening in the right way from the screen, you will not be open. I want this first step in your opening from the screen to be the fastest possible. Okay, next thing is give him the ball there. You set screen, open up, you receive the ball, make a dribble. He got out, make a spin move and finish. When you make this roll, the spin, there are two techniques. I prefer this one, where the ball is on your chest and to finish like this, but there's also a technique to put the ball up immediately. I prefer the first one, but the worst thing is to keep the ball down. That's something that's not acceptable. When you make a spin move, keep the ball up and finish. Come on, next one. See that every next drill is attached to this to the previous one, and that's basically continuing from the previous one. You do the same thing once again. We do a spin move here. He managed to get to me. Now it's mandatory to put it above your head and to finish. So the defense here should react so that the big man can make this. Stop, get back. You did the same thing previously. In the moment of setting screen, do not do like this. Literally do this. Make a jump stop. This is just running and then make a jump stop in one contact. I want you to see that you stood down with both feet, that you're not setting a moving screen. Get back. You see, this thing that he did here, what he did here is the main reason why I told you that when you make this spin, if you do this, you will lose the ball. So if you did this with the ball above your head, you were trying to pull the ball over your chest. So that's why you were not able to do it. When you do drills for a big man, you can always include doing with the guards. We're not going to do it today because the subject is training big men, but in organizing the drill, for example here, in the moment when this guard, after pick and roll, when he passes the ball, you can include the guard, for example, he receives the ball here from the coach and you can give him some task as well. So the drill from this alignment can be both good for training big men and for training guards. We're not going to do it today, but I just want to show you that from the same alignment, from the same drill, you can do training both. You can train both big men and guards. Now we're continuing all this that we did. So we started with the right hand. Now from this pick and roll, we will receive the ball and go into the middle. We will make dribble into the middle and finishing with both feet. I want you to emphasize this stopping and make a left and right leg stop in either in two contexts, but we want to emphasize this stopping in order to prevent calling traveling violation. Stop. Again, from one demand to the other. In receiving the ball here, that's one. You can take a shot from there immediately, but without getting into a shot, you can put it down in the dribble. There is a difference if you're gonna do one or the other. If he's a good shooter, or if he's gonna take defense out on him with this pump fake. But if the defense is not reacting when you make a pump fake, so you're a good shooter. If you're a good shooter, it makes sense, you know, for you when you receive the ball to get into a pump fake and then stop. When I told, did I ever tell you when you make triple threat position that you put a ball up when you want to make a pump fake? Do not do a pump fake always. Sometimes the pump fake is good, but getting into a shot and just looking at the basket is already a pump fake. So when the defender sees that you are watching the basket, you know, you're making a defense react already. I don't like your opening once again. I'm trying to show you what are the things that the players are making mistakes. Your first step is here. So you're not winning space, you're not gaining any space. You're beating with your second step. You're slowing down yourself because of that. You just push yourself from that leg and use the right leg, you know, to make this strong step. This is good. Come on, faster. Make a faster pass. Next one. Okay. Now one more additional thing. The next situation is I set a screen, I opened up, I received the ball, got into the middle, make a fake, and so as you received left and right, first dribble is with the right leg, left, right, stop. You can make a pump fake with one arm, but I prefer it doing with both arms, and then you make a turn and finish on the opposite side. Come on, next one. Okay, watch, see the basket. See the basket when you receive the ball. You have to put your eyes on the basket when you receive the ball. Okay. Now next thing, continuation from this is you receive the ball here. You got into the middle. You made a fake, but he got back to you, so up and under basically. And finish. Pay attention not to move the pivot leg. Stop, stop, stop. Left, right, and then you turn around the left leg. You start with the right leg, left, right, and you're turning around the left leg. Dribble, left, right, around the left leg, and then finish up after up and down. Do not hurry up and do not insist on doing it faster. The only thing where we're trying to be fast in this thing here is opening up from pick and roll, these first two steps. The rest of the things we're doing with optimal speed until you learn it to perfection. The defender should react on his fake, on the offensive player's fake. Okay, of course, everything that we do on the right side, you have to repeat it on the left side as well. We're not going to do it today because we're losing time to show the same drills. I want to show you more and more things, you know, to see as many things as possible. So now we're opening up with our back when we get into a shot. I want you to take a 2-point shot. I want you to open up here like this. and you get into a shot. That's the first thing that we're gonna do. Okay, so now pay attention to this detail when opening up. My first step is this here. So next step is this one here. With 2 steps, I got into a shooting zone. So players are mistaking by opening up like this. So you use 5 or 6 steps to get into a position that I got into by just using 2 steps. If you want to go even deeper, that's just this sideways running, but here receive it on the 45 degrees long 2-point shot. So that's the first detail that we're doing right now. Stop. It's not good. You're going up from your stance, and that's one very important detail. So you went too low down in your stance. So as you were opening up from the low stance, you got up, so you lost your balance and you were not fast enough. So the height of the stand is this semi-high stance. I'm saying this box, I call it the boxer stance. And you have the same height all the time. You're more stable, you're in better balance all the time for your shot. That's better. That's good. This was way better this second time. Stop. Okay, it's my fault. I didn't say. So pass the ball here from pick. I didn't say this to the defense. So he's going to a shot. You're just slowly like closing out towards him, go for the rebound and pass the ball to him. So that's the rhythm of this drill. Today, all the drill that we're going to do from opening up for shot, we're going to do it for 2. All these things you can do for taking a 3-point shot. So just one time we will do opening up for shooting for 3. And all the things that later what we're going to do is going to be opening for 2-point shot. So just this one time. Faster, faster. Come on, pass the ball faster. Do not lose time. Okay. Now from this here, you get into a pump fake. There is a pump fake with the ball up to your chest because it's a short road from the chin to the dribble. Somebody's faking with putting the ball up. But if it works, you should not correct it. But I prefer it with this pump fake where the ball is on your chin, and we make this. Okay, the next one. Okay. You can add to all of this. You can start from the same thing. When you go here, you can make a fake and then going under, up and under. I don't want to repeat the drills, but you can do the same things like previously from this one. Now, when you make this pump fake, if we're talking about training for a higher level, from this thing, you should introduce step back and step side shots. Now we're going to try to do that. You make a pump fake and bounce sideways. You should not do this with young categories until a certain level, but when you're practicing professionals and senior teams, this is extremely efficient shot. If somebody can make it, their shots from one leg. So players like Jokic, he can shoot from right leg. All the things that you do, you have to adjust it to the player that you have. Our job as a coach is to offer players different things and see what's comfortable for them. If you see that they're not comfortable with something, do not do it. But if they feel comfortable, even though it's maybe not a standard thing, but if he's comfortable with it, you should not stop it. You should, encourage him. Because everything that's not typical in basketball, that's an advantage for a player. So you should not suppress it. You should encourage it and use it, because it's good when some player can do something extra and something different than all the other players. Now we make a pump fake and we make this step aside. Come on, next one, just a bit faster. Okay, now the same thing, but to the right side. So in order not to make traveling violation here, not all the players, when they make left and right, they can go directly to the right. But you should see who's comfortable with this, who cannot make this direct step. He should make a jump stop in one contact. Make a jump step in one contact. So you can move both feet and you make a dribble to the side and shot. So let's not make it complicated. Make a jump stop in one contact and then go to the right side with the dribble. Okay, so I'm repeating, all of this can be done for 3-point shot, but if you're working with young categories, of course you're not going to start working with them with step aside with 3-point shot, but just going to start with 2-point shot and then going a bit to the outside. And not all the players can take these shots if they're not feeling comfortable, but if you find a player who can do that and who is good in doing that, you should insist on that. Again, we're going into the middle with 2 dribbles. 1, 2, and we go into a light fadeaway, for example, like Mačvan did or Dirk Nowitzki, and very often Jokic is doing. You can shoot it off one leg, whatever feels comfortable for each and every one of you. After the second dribble, you go into a fadeaway shot. That's it. This is it. Stop, stop, stop. I don't want you to do this as you did. That's backpedaling. I don't want you to do this backpedaling because you don't know what's happening behind your back. You don't see what's happening. I want you to open up like this and you run sideways. I want you to have the view of the court and to be stable when you're running. Stop. The most important detail about this shot, so that nobody can get close to you when you're shooting, is to, in this moment, to get into contact with the player. It's enough just to put him on your heels, on his heels, and if you're running away from the contact all the time and getting into that, if he's tall enough, if you're tall enough, you can make this shot, but it's going to be way more different than if you provoke this contact with your shoulder and then either shooting from one leg off or from a jump, from the jump to the back. Stop, stop, stop. Contact with your arm is an offensive foul. What you did here is you did this kind of contact and you went backwards. No. My first wish is to score a layup. I'm not going to do a fadeaway if I can score closer to the... But I want to go closer to the rim. If he's not letting me shoot, I get into contact with him and going into a fadeaway. So the contact that you're making is sideways. It's not even a classical shoulder, but it's this side of your arm that's getting into a contact with the player. Do not use your elbow and do not push him with your elbow. Use your shoulder. Now, one more addition to all of this. Okay, you receive the ball, you go into the middle, make a fake, and you go under. If you do it like this, left and right, if you attack with your left leg, that's traveling. I want your left, right stop, and then attack with your right leg, under. That's it. Okay. Now, as I said, there are different kinds of big men, and I didn't do the same things with when receiving the ball with Boban Marjanovic or with Jokic, who can do a lot of different things. But what's important, the same detail is important for each and every one of them. And now, when you come to the situation here, if you have a player like Boban Marjanovic, a big man who is not gonna do these things when he receives the ball because he was a good shooter, if he doesn't shoot the ball, he gets into playing with his back to the basket. So we're gonna show if you don't take a shot, you can play with your back with two dribbles. You can do you can do the same thing with the players who are trained to play with their face to the basket or with the ones who can play with their back to the basket. You make a pump fake when you receive the ball. He didn't take a shot because he didn't react, and then you go and play with your back to the basket with two dribbles. Okay. Now from this here, you have all different variety of drills. We're not gonna go through it today. You have a lecture for low pose that I did previously. You can watch it online, and you can use them. You can do a lot of things from this regarding low post. Now what we're gonna do is a handoff. The same thing that's you will not when you receive the ball you will not swing it, but you will go with a dribble for a handoff. There are different techniques, but the one that I'm insisting on, and I think that's most efficient, one is that I'm handing off, handing it to the side, and I'm setting a screen with my chest. So I'm in the same position as I was setting regular screen. Somebody says I'm holding the ball like this, but if I'm doing a screen to the side, this kind of screen is easy to avoid. I want you to set a screen like this. The ball is on the side, and you're making a screen on your player and opening up. Again, you can do it with your face or with your back, depending what you want to do. Either you're going to go for the layup or you want to go into a shot. Now, from the handoff, I want to prevent making a screen while moving. So make a jump stop and open up and go all the way. Now, after this, you can attach all the drills that we already showed and to have different ways of finishing. But we're insisting now on the detail that the ball is on the side, to set a correct screen, and to use a front pivot opening to score a layup. Now just a bit faster. Come on, next one. Now just be focused, please. Dribble, hand off. You dribble the ball, hand off, set the screen with your chest. Okay. Now, from this front opening with the dribble handoff, you can use all these drills that we previously did and a lot of different ones, but when we're assisting on stopping and the way of opening from this. Now, opening with your back, the same thing, you hand off in the same way, but you open up with your back and you go into a shot. Okay, stop now. Now, the next thing that's very efficient from this same back opening, all the drills that we already did, you can do them once again. I just scratched a couple of drills, but as much as you're creative, you can do these additions. Now the key things we're paying attention to setting a good screen and opening up from pick and roll. Now we're gonna do a fake of setting pick and I attack all the way. What is important? See, from this fake here, my offense is here with my right leg. How this looks like, and you go all the way to the end. Let's each of you try this. When you see that your defender is used to pick and roll, some teams are even show on pick and roll. This fake is very good and it can work really well. You can finish off one leg or with both feet on the floor. As I said already in this introduction to this, a pass from pick and roll is one of the very important details. So you cannot become a passer like Jokic if he's not talented like him, but you can get a pretty good passer if you're practicing. There are a few drills that are increasing the view of the floor for the players. I want one of the guards to go into the corner. You do the same thing from a handoff. You can do this from front or back opening. It doesn't matter. But the goal. What's the goal? When you go for the drive and for penetration, your guard is going to show a number. If you see 1, 3, or 5, you can show any of the numbers. If you see 1, 3, or 5, pass the ball to him. If he shows 2 or 4, you finish yourself. So now we can, for example, do this from this fake, or if I get the ball from pick and I make drive, but as he puts the ball down into the dribble, you show some number, and so you show some number. Okay, now 2, that means that I'm finishing. 1, 3, and 5, I'm passing the ball to him, to the corner. Passing the ball should be done in the way that you want. You will try to stop this pass. I don't want you to do some bad pass, but what I want you to do is whether you're gonna pass like this or you're gonna make it like this. Even though I don't like this two-handed pass behind the head, I'm not a fan of that, but there are people who are doing it in a great way, and you should not stop them from doing that. I want you to show numbers. I don't want you to do this fast, because this is a thing that's new for you. I want you to try to make as many errors as possible. So 1, 3, and 5, pass the ball to him. I can change demands and I will go through some of them. I don't think it's going to be too successful today because you haven't done it before, but let's see how this works. Stop now. What does 2 mean? 2? 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, and 5 is a pass. 2 and 4 is for you to finish. Just with one detail, you're forcing a player to think and to make decision. First of all, he has to recognize which number he showed, and with that, through time, nothing is happening quick, but within next 5 or 7 or 10 practices, you will see that the player is already putting on the next level. So these demands can be more complex, and I will explain you later what these complex demands can be. Stop. Do you think that you can make this two-handed chest pass through the full paint? There are 8 more players, both on offense and defense. You cannot pass like this into the corner. Imagine defense here, and whoever's here on defense, just try to deflect the pass or to force him to do a better pass. Now, come on. No, we're finishing this. Just be focused for a few more minutes. These big men, I want you to have the choice what you're going to do from this, how you're going to open up and what you're going to do. But the key thing now is to pass the ball in the corner and to recognize the numbers that the player from the corner is showing. I want you to go for the drive first. There is also a training, and it's done, and we're going to do next thing. In receiving the ball, you recognize whether you pass or not. I asked now, the rotation came, so from this rotation you have to read and pass the ball, whether to pass it or not. So you receive the ball, you go for the penetration, and then after you make a decision. Are you going to pass or you're going to finish? Come on, next one. Better pass. Make a better pass for this player to be able to take a shot. So, now I want you to recognize when you open up. I want you to open up into a shooting position. See the number that he's showing. Now 1, 3, 5 is a pass. 2 and 4, I want you to go into a shot. So you have to show them numbers. So as he is receiving the ball, he has to see the number and then recognizes whether he's going to take a shot or pass the ball to you in the corner. Okay, everything is okay. Come on, next one. Pay attention to the traveling violation. Do not make it fast. Do it at the speed that you can recognize what's supposed to be done. Okay. When you see that the players already got this and there are less mistakes or none, now we're making it more complicated with his showing. He's showing with his two hands. And you say even or odd numbers. Even numbers, he does one thing, and odd numbers, he does other thing. For example, shots on even numbers or penetration on odd numbers. And you can add under 5 or over 5, so you make it more complicated. You make decision making more complicated, so the players are advancing faster, and it's getting easier for them to recognize and to read situations. This is one step in the first receiving the ball, to have his head up, to see the weak side and to see what this weak side is doing, to see what the players are doing on the weak side. So you start with the levels. Next level is two hands, and on these two hands, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 is one thing, and so the next thing, how you can make it more complicated. You can put two players. So the player, if he shows 8, you pass the ball to him. So he has to watch two players and the fingers and the numbers that they're showing. So the better the player gets, and you should make more complicated demands to make more difficult solutions. Nikola Jokic could have recognized in receiving the ball two corners, two coaches with two hands showing certain numbers, which is unbelievable. I don't have any other player that could recognize two coaches, but there were some players that could recognize two coaches with one hand, and people were able to do that. And you're increasing decision making a lot with this, and recognition of situations which are happening on the floor. All this that we did, we can do from pick and roll on the top, because we already did many things. I don't want to make this lecture too long. All these things that we did can be done from opening on the top, where I want a big man to go from the deep. The guard is here. You pass the ball to the guard. You're setting a screen here. It's the same thing if you want to go full roll, opening front with your face. If you want to go into semi-roll, you open up to the side. And again, all of these things that we did, all these finishes and all these additions, coaches in the corners can show their hands. If you're creative, all of this can go up to 4 hours of talking. But the key thing is how you open up from the screen, how you set the screen, how you receive the ball after the screen, where your head is, and what we are paying attention to when we receive the ball. And all the other things are advancements that you are doing according to the players that you have. If you see that players are getting some things easily, you should put them higher demands, more difficult demands. And sometimes it's going to get really fun to watch what each of them can do, and they're competing against each other to be better, to do something that somebody else can't do. So we are pushing the whole team ahead, and everybody's helping each other as the teammates. I want you to go into the middle to set screen now. When I'm saying to the players how they're setting a screen in the middle, I'm not telling them make it in the run into the semicircle, because in that way you're deciding which side you're coming from. So you try to guard me here. When I want to set a screen, so that this defender doesn't know what side I run in a straight line, and then in the last moment I just turn to one side or to the other side to decide the guard to the ball handler where he should go. If I go like if I want to fool the defender, I'm going to go to one side and then go to the opposite side and set a screen with an angle. Now we're going to go to one side and one dribble and the finish, and then we're going to introduce something new, some new drills. Come on, next one. Stop. Here, when you come here to this player and you open up, the same stop with one contact is very important for this screen as well. Now into the other, we go to the other side and you open up to the opposite side. Run in a straight line before setting the screen. You can open up like that if you go all the way to the basket. If you want to finish without a dribble, open up with a front pivot. If you want to receive it and make a dribble, you open up with a back pivot, because you will have more time to make a dribble. Okay, from this, all these drills that we went through, you can do them. You can go into jump stops, into fakes, into up and downs. Also, you can use coaches in one or the other corner, or in both corners. You can play as much as you can from this. The last thing that we're going to do today is you run in semi-circle, like you're faking, like setting screen to one side, but in the last moment you make this turn and we open up and we go all the way. And that's the last thing that we're going to do today. Come on, next one. Okay, that's it. Now let's not finish this practice with a miss. I want you to finish with a score, with a scored basket. It was good, guys. So the key thing is, as much as you're creative, all this thing can be built up. The basic thing is to be in one contact, to open up as fast as you can, to have in your head whatever somebody feels, to when you go in short roll, to open up with a back pivot. If you go for a deep roll, to open up with a front pivot. And after that, the technique should be adjusted to the players that you have. Not all the players can do everything, but you should find whatever feels comfortable for each player. You can offer them all, but you should find what's comfortable and insist on that. I think do not suppress something that's not typical that the player does, and something that's not common but it works for him. Do not suppress that, but encourage it. Thank you guys.